Hi everyone, it's Holly with Journal with Dolly, and welcome to this really super exciting project that we're going to be doing today. Now, I was asked by Kia Creates. If you don't follow her, then where have you been? She's an amazing creator. She makes stickers and amazing journals, and her artwork is amazing. She's a published author. She's got books out, and she's absolutely fantastic. It's basically a big project with her and 30 other journalers, crafters, junk journalers, glue bookers, all that good stuff. She basically, Kia created a list of prompts that we could all choose from. She selected these 30 creators and I am one of them. I don't know how. Thank you so much. I'm honoured. And she got everybody to pick a prompt from a list and then create a page based on that prompt. Now, it could be, like I say, a junk journal page, a glue book page, a journal page with writing, whatever that creator wanted to do. I've wanted to do a glue book page, of course, and one of the reasons why I wanted to do a glue book page is the prompt that I chose is in the attic. Now, that really excited me, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why I picked that prompt later on and why it appealed to me. But yeah, we're going to be doing a little bit of glue booking today, which is exciting because I haven't done glue booking in a long time. If you are new here, because I'm expecting I might get some new people watching me today, welcome. I'm Holly. I am my persona online is Journal with Dolly. I have a TikTok, a YouTube, and an Instagram. So if you don't follow me on those, then go over and follow me. I am an English teacher, and if you can hear from my accent, I'm a Northern English lass. I don't feel like we have enough representation, but yeah, I'm originally from Hull in Yorkshire, but I live in Leeds in Yorkshire now, so still up in the north, and yeah, so I live in West Yorkshire. I live about half an hour away from where the Bronte sisters lived, so Wuthering Heights and all that kind of thing is all my jam, which I thought was quite fitting for this video. And yeah, I'm a I work full-time as a teacher, and I live with my boyfriend Will and my standard long-haired sausage dog, the rescue, that is Pixie. And if you hear her kind of whining in the background, I do apologise. She's been very vocal today. I think it's because some absolute knobheads are setting off fireworks. Don't know why, because it's September. Very confused why we're setting fireworks off in September. But hey, we roll. It's fine. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to do my prompt, which is in the attic. And I really hope you enjoy watching my process and all that kind of thing. Now, I have got some questions because I suggested on the group chat with the other guys that are involved in this project, is there something kind of that we want to talk about? Is it going to be a tag video or anything like that? And Kia thought it was a really good idea, and she was like, oh my god, yes, Holly, like, we'll add some questions. So the questions that Kia created, I've got on some paper here, and we're going to go through them. I'm going to sneeze. Oh my god, why is that? I usually do about 10 sneezes, so that's lucky you only got one. So yeah, I've got the questions here. Kia's also said that if anybody wants to join in with this video, with this sort of tag, or if anybody wants to do any of the prompts that I mentioned, then yeah, feel free to hop on board and join in. That's what we want. And make sure to follow all the fantastic creators that are obviously part of this project as well. Now, something I just wanted to talk about really quickly before we get started is that there's something on this page that I didn't do, and I'm going to add it for when I actually go live with this video and when I put the picture on Instagram. So it's going to look a tiny little bit different. But when I'd finished it and I was recording this video, I was looking at it, I was like, something's missing, I don't know what it is. But at the end, basically, I hole punch a hole in the side and I stick some lace through it just to add a little zhazhoom, I don't know. And basically I think it might be quite nice to add like a little tag onto there with maybe the tag questions and the other creators that are part of this project. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add that on. I can't do it immediately because I don't have a printer at home and I nick the printer from work to print stuff out. So I'm going to have to go back to work tomorrow and print it out there. And I'm going to add it back in. But yeah, I think that it would just add a little something to the page if I had that little tag on there. I don't know. Tell me what you think, but I think it'll look cute. And also, I decided to put this glue book page in my regular journal, which I wasn't going to do. I was going to put it in a glue book, but then I was like, well, it's not really a glue book page. It is, obviously, it's a collage, but it's kind of a part of my life is being involved in this collab, and I thought it was really nice to have it actually in my real journal. So it's in my standard regular journal. Yeah, so it's not in a glue book. So I just wanted to make that distinction. Okay, I think I've done all the introduction. I mean, I've been waffling on now for nearly 6 minutes, and we've not actually covered any of the questions at all. So that's the introduction. Yeah, woohoo, let's crack on. So these are the questions that Kia came up with. My favourite thing about autumn and Halloween. Okay, so I'm 100% autumn girly. I actually don't mind winter very much. I actually like all the seasons, if I'm being honest. There's no season where I'm like, this is horrible, stop it, let me get off the earth. I actually don't mind hot weather, but I don't like hot weather in Britain, okay? If I'm abroad, I don't mind it too much as long as there's not too much activity going on and I'm not running around and exerting myself. That's fine. Like when we went to Barcelona in the summer, I actually really enjoyed the heat, and the only time that I didn't like it was when we were traipsing around the city trying to find a metro that was open with all of our stuff before we flew back home. Didn't enjoy it then, thought I was going to pass out. But the rest of the time, when we're just having a little mooch around and I was sat around the pool and drinking margaritas and all that good stuff, really honestly couldn't care less. Thought it was quite nice. So I'm not one of these people that absolutely hates everything. I just don't like hot weather in the UK because I feel like in Britain the heat just isn't good. Like it's really muggy, it's really humid. We don't have buildings that are designed to make your life cool. All of our buildings are designed to keep heat in, because especially old buildings like where I live in a converted mill, and back then in Victorian times when the mill was working, they didn't have they had very cold winters and it was cold nearly all the time. They didn't really have hot weather like they do now. So my apartment building is designed to keep heat in, so it's unbearable in the summer, right? So that's why I don't like summer in England, and I don't like working in it either, because again, all the classrooms at work, none have aircon. There's a brand new building that has literally just been built and they didn't put any aircon in it. There's no blinds up. My classroom was like a sweat box. I felt like a rotisserie chicken looking out the window, literally help me. Awful. So I love autumn. I love it in the UK. I love the turn of the season. I like it when it starts feeling a little bit nippy, and I like wearing autumn clothing because I like layers and blazers and funky clothes. And if you follow me anywhere else, you'll know that I love me some weird clothing. I've got half orange, half bright pink hair. I'm a little crazy. What can I say? God, that was cringe. But yeah, I love all that kind of stuff. So I love having hot baths and being cozy inside and wearing nice snuggly jumpers. And Will really laughs at me because I actually have every year I have a tradition of buying a new winter fleece that I have in the house, because like I say, our house is quite cold. Even though it's been designed to keep the heat in, it doesn't really do that very successfully. And a lot of the time it's very, very cold because we don't have central heating. We've got little electric heaters which cost the earth to run. So I have a different fleece every year. So I just bought mine the other day from TK Maxx. Very happy, only 12 quid. And it's very, very lovely. And Will was like, you're going to be staying in that now, aren't you? For the rest of the next 6 months, you're just going to be in that fleece and leggings and fluffy socks at home the whole time. And I was like, yeah, babes, you're right, I am. So, yeah, that's what I love about autumn. I love the changing of the seasons and all the the months, so like September, October, November, December are all my favourite months. Everything good happens in that time. You know, you've got Bonfire Night, you've got, if you're in the UK, you've got Bonfire Night, you've got Halloween, you've got well, I'm going to talk about some of the things that we do in my family anyway. We've got Christmas, all that lead up to Christmas, everything like that is fun. So I love the months. So yeah, that is probably my favourite thing about it. The only thing I don't like about winter, and the only thing I don't like about the changing of the seasons, I will be honest, is dark mornings. Oh my God, I don't mind it getting dark early on a night. I can actually cope with that. But getting up in a morning when it is still pitch black. I mean, Pixie needed to go out for a wee this morning, and it was like 6:15, and she was crying and she wanted to go out. And that was fine. I took her downstairs. It was literally pitch black. It was like the middle of the night. And I thought, for God's sake, tomorrow I'm going to have to go up for work and it's going to be pitch black like this. And yeah, that makes me really, really sad. So, yeah, I don't like the dark mornings. I find that really, really hard. But everything else, pretty much really, really like. The next one is, have you ever created any spooky or Halloween pages before? Now, I don't really do themed pages because I used to journal. I've gone through lots of different stages of journaling. If you've been here a while, you'll know. But I used to journal originally doing just highlights from my days, and that's what I do again now. Then I had a stage, especially during COVID, when there was nothing else to do, of journaling every single day, my Fibonacci. And I did do some themed pages back then, and spooky themes and stuff like that. In my teacher planner that I have at work, I've decorated all that. So in the week that it's Halloween, I've put like Halloween stickers all over it and things like that. But generally speaking, not really any kind of Halloween specific pages. Spooky, on the other hand, glue book wise, yes. Whenever I make a glue book page, I always try and make a little story up. And this is what I've tried to do with this one, is I've kind of put the house on there, and you can see that I cut that house out, stuck it on, and I'm imagining that this family, who I've stuck on as well, and the little boy that comes on later, he's kind of like the master of the house, and all these other people, like his servants, and the mum and the dad are kind of like, that's the golden boy, and you know, all of his stuff and everything is kind of in this attic, and it's been abandoned for a while, so that's why there's kind of like lots of you'll see lots of mushrooms and things all over the page. And I try and come up with a story, so I do that with a lot of my glue book pages. And for some other people looking at them, you might never guess that story, you might never think that that's actually what's happening, but in my brain, that is what's going on. And a lot of the times in my other glue book pages, I've tried to do the same thing, and a lot of them do have kind of a sinister kind of dark kind of vibe to them, I guess. So yeah, that's just something else that I do like to do. So I guess I could say yes. With my glue book pages, there definitely is sometimes a sinister kind of undertone to some of those pages. Halloween and autumnal traditions. Okay, so I have actually quite a few from when I was younger, and only a couple that I've kind of kept on myself, because I don't have kids. I don't want kids, before anyone asks. So maybe they won't kind of continue, but when I was younger, and I mean now, my mum hates autumn. She hates it. My mum is a 100% summer girly. She lived in Italy, and she would move back to Italy tomorrow if my stepdad would say, yeah, let's move, you know, Jane, let's go. She loves the sun, she loves the heat, she loves the warmth. She's completely opposite to me. She hates autumn, she hates anything to do with autumn. And she hates winter. Winter, honestly, she gets that really bad seasonal depression thing. She doesn't like it. So we never kind of celebrated autumn when I was younger, even though I was like, hooray, it's autumn time. And obviously, autumn also meant back to school. And I love school. And, you know, that's continued because now I'm a teacher. So, you know, you can kind of tell that I loved school. And it's a very exciting time for new beginnings, I like to think autumn has. But my mum, no. She didn't like autumn at all. However, saying that, there was two things that we used to do every single autumn without fail. Number one is, being from Hull, is Hull Fair is in the middle of October, and it's on again in a week, and I will be going with my sister, and we go every single year, so that is something that we have continued. So every single year, me and my sister will go to Hull Fair. Now, if you don't know what Hull Fair is, because maybe you don't live around here or you're abroad or whatever, Hull Fair is the biggest travelling fair in the UK. So it's absolutely massive. There's so many rides. If you don't like rides, there's games and food and so much tasty food and confectionery and sweets and just games, and oh my god, I just love it so much. And when I go to Hull Fair, it feels like Christmas is just around the corner, and I like that as well. Although Christmas does give me an abundance of anxiety, I do actually enjoy it. But yeah, Hull Fair when I was younger especially was a really magical time of year. And, you know, it still kind of is to me. You know, we used to go and get toffee apples and candy floss, and my mum used to always get a big bag of chestnuts, hot chestnuts, and she used to eat them, but mainly she used to get them because her hands were cold. So she used to like warm her hands up with the bag of chestnuts. And we used to go on lots of rides, and we still do. My sister is still a bit of a adrenaline junkie because she's like 6 years younger than me, and I'm 28 now, so I'm a little bit like, oh, I really got to go on the scary ones. I like going on the fun ones, but like the scary ones are not really for me anymore. But she's like still at that age where she wants to go on all the scary stuff. She's like 22, and she was like to me earlier, she was like, yeah, you're gonna come on all the scary stuff with me, and I was like, I don't know, I might just wave at the bottom at you this year. So yeah, so that's definitely a tradition in autumn that we used to do every single year, and we still do that. And yeah, like, I don't know what else you can get, like honeycomb toffee and like cinder toffee, and oh god, yeah, I just love it, honestly. Absolutely love Hull Fair. It's like one of my favourite things. It's the only time really when Hull becomes alive, because one of the reasons that I left Hull is that there's not much there, and it's a bit run down, and it's not my favourite place in the world, let's just put it that way. But when Hull Fair's around, it really does make a massive difference, and it makes it so much funner and like I say, alive. It really does. Another tradition that we used to have for Halloween is we did used to celebrate Halloween, and my mum is a bit of a deep down pagan, and she likes all the kind of pagan-y traditions and things, and Halloween definitely was one of those. And what she used to do is we used to go trick-or-treating, which wasn't a really big thing at the time. It's kind of got a lot bigger nowadays, but when I was little, it really wasn't as big as it used to be, as it is now. Sorry, it really isn't. It's kind of definitely evolved with kind of being more Americanized, but we never really used to, you know, no one really used to go trick-or-treating. You know, me and my sister used to go, and we used to get a few bits and pieces, but nothing major. So the main party was back at my mum's house, and my mum she used to invite our friends round, and she had a friend as well who was crazy, and she used to fully dress up, like her as an adult used to dress up, and I totally respect that now. I love that. She used to fully dress up, and we'd come round, and my mum would make like a full buffet of different foods where they'd all be a bit creepy. So there'd be like hot dogs that she'd like cut into like fingers with like blood coming out of them, ketchup. There'd be jellies or jello, wherever you are, with like sweet bugs in them, you know, like jelly bugs and things, and beetles and stuff. And she'd make us all like party bags and decorate the table and decorate the front door, and we'd always carve a pumpkin. And my granddad used to love carving pumpkins with us. That's a really lovely memory that I have of me and my granddad, is carving pumpkins. And there is somewhere in the millions of videos and DVDs that he put together of us, me and my sister growing up, there definitely is some footage somewhere of us carving pumpkins with him, which I would actually love to dig out, but I think I'll probably cry, so I don't know if I'm ready to look at those just yet. But yeah, they're kind of the main traditions that we had, was definitely Hull Fair, and then for actual Halloween, having Halloween parties with my mum and her friend and our friends and my granddad occasionally if we were around his house, because he lived in a different town to us. So when we used to go on a weekend, he used to get us a pumpkin and we used to do that. Kind of again autumnal, I suppose, is Bonfire Night. And if you're from abroad and you don't know what Bonfire Night is, it's an evening on the 5th of November where we celebrate, I guess we celebrate or remember, I don't really know, Guy Fawkes, who was this dude who wanted to blow up Parliament, and he got caught and then he got hung, drawn and quartered, so it didn't really work out quite well for good old Guy. A bit of a shame now, innit, but I jest. But yeah, he wanted to blow up Parliament. So anyway, what the people do now is on Bonfire Night, every 5th of November, they have big bonfires in their gardens and they build a guy. And you basically build a scarecrow and you stuff him and then you put him on the fire and up he goes in flames. And there's usually fireworks and things like that as well. Now, nowadays, I am kind of wanting a ban on fireworks for sale for the general public, because I lived in a place in Leeds when we first moved here where they used to put fireworks through our front door, and that was really terrifying, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So kind of hoping that they kind of ban them now when it's just displays only, like professional displays. But when I was younger, one of my most lovely memories ever is every single bonfire night going to my nana and granddad's house, and my dad would do fireworks in the garden, responsibly, of course. And my favourite was always the Catherine wheel, which you put on the side of the garage and it spun round and it was, all pretty and stuff. My mum would make a chilli, and then we'd put jacket potatoes or baked potatoes, whatever you call, in foil, and we'd put them in the bonfire, and then we'd pull them out and they'd be boiling hot, and you could have the chilli on and the cheese on top. And we'd have parkin cake, which is a very Yorkshire thing, but it's like a black treacle sponge. We'd have that with like custard, and oh my god, honestly, I really do have lovely memories of Bonfire Night when I was growing up. It was a really fun time. And the thing that I don't like about it now is, like I said earlier, there was some knobhead setting fireworks off earlier. That's the thing. People set fireworks off all the time now, and it's just not all right. And my dog now, Pixie, is really frightened of fireworks. So that's kind of taken away the enjoyment of Bonfire Night, because last year I had to spend it with the blinds closed in my bedroom, just with Pixie under the quilt, kind of giving her a cuddle. So I feel like if it was just displays only, like professional displays, they'd be over by 9 o'clock on the night. But the problem is that it goes on for weeks, people setting them off for all manner of reasons. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's another kind of tradition I had, was going to my nana and granddad's every single year and enjoying Bonfire Night there, and yeah, that kind of thing. I loved it. The next question is, what called you out to this prompt and what does it make you think of? Well, as I've mentioned before, with my glue book pages, I love coming up with stories, and I have a thing about magical attics. I don't know what it is, or like old attics or whatever. Again, it could be my nana and granddad, because my nana and granddad's house was very big when I was growing up. It had 6 bedrooms, it was 3 floors, it had half an acre of land, and the upstairs, the attic, was my favourite area, because it was technically a spare bedroom, but it was really our playroom, and it had in it like this weird little cupboard which had all stuff from when my mum and my uncle were little, and it had their old Meccano and their old Lego and some things that my granddad and nana had made, because they were teachers as well, and they made resources. My granddad, like Kia, is a published author, well, was a published author, I guess, and he came out with several resource books for maths, teaching maths, and I actually have taken them to work with me, which is quite sweet, and we use some of those stuffs in the English lessons, in the maths lessons now with our kids, which is, lovely, and I know that he would have loved to have known that we were doing that. So I don't know what it is with attics. I think it has stemmed from when I was younger and kind of going upstairs to the attic where all of our books were, and like I say, all the 1970s stuff from when my mum and my uncle were little. And there was another room in the attic which you could go in, but you could only get in with a key, and that had all like storage stuff in it. And I still remember the like musty, weird smell that it had in there, and I just loved it. I loved the attic so much, and I feel like that is kind of why I'm so fascinated by attics, and I feel cozy in an attic. And one of the lovely things about my flat currently is that my upstairs, because it's a duplex, so it's got a downstairs and an upstairs, and the upstairs, my craft room and our bedroom, is actually in the roof. So it doesn't have like real windows, it has skylights, so you can only really see up. And I feel most comfortable when I'm upstairs in the attic. I don't know why, I love it. So yeah, that's probably what drew me to it. And like I say, I've come up with my own little story about who they are and all that kind of thing as well. Then there's some little quick fire questions. Cozy autumnal vibes or spooky Halloween vibes? Cozy autumnal, I think, but I do like kind of all the pumpkins and little cute ghosties and things like that. But again, it'd have to be cute Halloween. I don't like real scary Halloween. I get scared, but yeah, probably cozy autumnal, blankets, pumpkin spiced candles, and witchy vibe candles and all that kind of stuff. Definitely is my kind of vibe. Walks in the forest in crispy leaves or curled up inside with a blanket. Definitely curled up inside with a blanket. I will do anything I can to avoid going outside when it's kind of wet and gross. However, I do actually love being outside when it's like that. And I have to remind myself to actually go outside. And that's what's so good about having Pixie, is that I'm kind of forced to go outside. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you've got a dog and we live in a flat, so we have to go downstairs with her for take her out for a wee and stuff. So I don't actually mind too much, and I actually really enjoy a nice brisk chilly walk. I find it easier to walk in cold than I do in warm, definitely. So yeah, I would say definitely staying inside in my jammies and a blanket and crafting or reading a book or playing on my Nintendo Switch, something like that. But I'm not totally opposed to going for a walk in a forest. If I was with my dog, that'd be fine. Pumpkin carving or pumpkin painting? I've never actually painted a pumpkin, I'll be honest. That's something that I've never ever done. I do prefer the carving thing because obviously then you can put a candle in it and then it lights up and it's cute. And that's what I remember doing with my granddad and my mum. So, and Amy, my sister. But I'd probably nowadays maybe say pumpkin painting, because I feel like with a jack-o'-lantern or a pumpkin with a candle in it, there's quite a lot of waste, because you put the candle in it and then it kind of burns all the inside and there's like ash and stuff, and obviously you've got to grate it all out and everything. I don't know, we never ate them. We used to leave them out until in the garden until they were literally like decaying and then put them in the compost heap. But yeah, nowadays I'd probably say pumpkin painting, because then you could use the insides and make a nice little pumpkin soup or something. I don't know. Spooky movie or spooky book? Spooky book, 100%. I don't do spooky movies. I don't do like films, spooky films, absolutely not. Horror films, absolutely not. Don't do anything scary. I watched The Woman in Black, and that was enough for me. Absolutely terrifying. Pooed my pants. Never again. I think I've watched it about 3 times, and each time is terrifying. And that was never of my own accord. I was always made to if I went to a sleepover, or when I think it came out when I was at uni or like maybe year 12 at school. So it was never my choice to watch those things. It was all, any spooky thing I've seen has never been my choice. It's always been whoever I've been with has been like, yeah, let's put that on, and I've shat myself for weeks afterwards. Now, I do say spooky book, but I say it with kind of a bit of a hesitance, because when I was younger, my granddad, again, bought me a Goosebumps book. Now, if you're of a certain age, you'll know what Goosebumps is, but he bought me a Goosebumps book, and it was like the House of Horror or the House of Hell or something. I got halfway through it and I was so scared that I had to sleep with the lights on for about 2 weeks, and I had to give it away to charity. I was like, I can't read it. Nowadays I'm not so much of a wimp, but I don't do like horror books. I don't mind a couple of Karen Slaughters. I've got Pretty Girls on my list to read, and I kind of like things with a kind of mystical vibe going along it. Like, my favourite book of all time is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and that I would count as a dark academia kind of book. It's kind of a little bit spooky and autumnal and cosy, but without kind of being overly gory or grim or scary. It's just got creepy vibes. Same like Jessie Burton books, The Miniaturist. I've also got another of her books downstairs. I think it's called The Confession. I've got that to read. What's another one as well? I can't remember who wrote it now, but it's called Mrs. England, and that one again had like a creepy vibe. Stacey Halls, that's who wrote it. She also wrote The Foundling and a couple of other ones. But yeah, those I'm fine with. But anything kind of overly horror or anything like that, no. I don't vibe with that. I don't know if you can hear that, but Pixie is like grumbling in the background. Witches or ghosts? Witches 100%. Can't cope with ghosts. I don't believe in them, but my God, tell me a ghost story, I'll be thinking about it for like 6 weeks. I'm terrified. But I don't know how I'm terrified of something that I don't believe is real. But then I could go on a massive tangent and I could tell you all about Charlie Hooper, but I don't know if I have time. I might actually leave out the other questions. There's only 2 more, but I might leave them out so I can tell you about Charlie Hooper. Basically, I don't believe in ghosts, but I did have an imaginary friend when I was younger, when I was about 3, who I called Charlie Hooper, and he was a little boy who was about 5, and I told my mum that he died in a fire at Hull General Infirmary, which was the name of Hull Royal, so the hospital, the big hospital in Hull. And I told her all this, and I said he died in like the 40s, and he died in a fire. His stepdad was really mean. He burnt his house down and blah blah blah. Anyway, at the time that was quite weird because I was a very innocent child. I didn't really like anything kind of spooky at all or anything creepy, and I got scared by things. I just told you about the Goosebumps book, and that was when I was a lot older. Anyway, when I went to school, Charlie Hooper kind of didn't exist anymore. I kind of said, oh no, he's gone away now, he's left, whatever. And I used to say that he used to wear things like short corduroy trousers, shorts, little knitted jumper, like over his shirt and things like that, and a little tie. Anyway, I knew exactly what Charlie looked like, and I can still imagine what he looked like now, and yeah, all this. Anyway, my mum is a nurse, and she actually worked at Hull Royal for quite a while, and on a night shift she decided to do some delving while it was quiet into the archives of the hospital, and it turned out that there was actually a little boy who died in Hull General Infirmary in the 40s, who was killed in a fire by his stepdad in a pub. And basically it really creeped my mum out, and so there is certain things as well that happen when I go back home. It's never really when I'm here at my house, but when I go back home to my mum's, things will happen that we can't really explain. So things like a door will randomly open, or we'll hear lots of shaking of like pans in another room, or there was one time when we went out and we came back and there was a little picture that my sister had drawn, and it was stuck on the top of the ceiling where no one could reach, and we couldn't get it down. So there was a lot of weird things that have happened, that we feel like Charlie Hooper is still around me, and I'm not scared by him. He's there, and it's fine if he wants to be my mate. I'm not bothered. And like I say, I've not seen him since I was very, very small, but it was a very big coincidence. Maybe I'd heard it on the news and I've come up with it myself, but that doesn't explain the weird things that have happened with Charlie since. So, if anyone's into kind of mystical things like that, then let me know what you think about that. Like I say, I'm not worried. I don't actually believe in ghosts, but then I kind of do believe in Charlie, so I'm very, very confused about the whole situation, to be fair. And I would go for like a reading or something, but I'm too scared in case they come out and say something bad or whatever. I don't need to add that to my anxiety or whatever. But yeah, it's a very strange feeling when you don't believe in something, but you kind of do believe in one aspect of it. Because if I believe in Charlie, then I have to say I believe in ghosts. Do you know what I mean? Or I have to believe. Well, I do believe in energies. Definitely, I think energy is a thing. You know, when you walk into a space and you can tell something's quite off, or you can know something's happened in there before, and you can kind of feel it. I do get that quite strongly, but yeah, very weird about Charlie and that situation. So yeah, if you're into all like mediums and stuff, let me know what you think. But yeah, on that note, we're gonna call it a day. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. A lot of it for me actually, and kind of just chatting about my spooky autumnal fun and stuff. And I feel like I've covered quite a lot of ground. I'm quite happy with it. But yeah, definitely go and check out all the other creators that were part of this fantastic project and go and see what they've done. If you want to get involved, then pop the hashtag on any sort of video or Instagram post that you want to do, and definitely go and check out Kia if you haven't checked her out before. I actually used a couple of her stickers on this page as well, the little yellow and pink pumpkins. They are her stickers that I got quite a while ago now. But they're absolutely lovely. They're also whimsical and cute. And yeah, definitely go check her out. Check out all the other amazing creators. Sorry if you've heard Pixie whining in the background. And yeah, I will let you go. Have a wonderful Halloween, a lovely autumnal time. Subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. I didn't get many comments on my last video, so please comment on stuff, because I want to make sure that people are watching my things and stuff like that. So yeah, make sure you're commenting, subscribing, liking, doing all the good stuff, sharing, whatever else. And I'm just going to let this play out now, and I'll see you in my next video. Yeah. All right then, take care. Laters, toodles, bye.